Create and configure virtual machine settings. Our first task is to configure dynamic memory and smart paging. Let's go to Tools, Hyper-V Manager. We're going to be working on PLAB Win 802. Right mouse click, Settings, click on Memory, Enable Dynamic Memory. We're going to leave the defaults on the entire page. We'll go ahead and apply it. Let's scroll down to locate Smart Paging. Just click on Smart Paging. Verify the location. Let's click OK. Next, let's power on the virtual machines. We're going to power on PLAB DC01. Right mouse click and select Connect. The green button to power it on. Next, let's go to PLAB Win 802. Right mouse click, Connect, and the green button to power on. Next thing we're going to do is to enable resource metering on the host machine, PLAB Hyper-V. Let's open PowerShell as administrator and put the following command in. Alright, so it's not going to give us a confirmation, but the resource metering is indeed set up. In order for us to verify the resource metering, we would run the following command. And there you have it. The output shows all of our virtual machines, and over here it shows you that resource metering enabled equals true for all of our virtual machines. So we're monitoring everything. The next thing we're going to do is explore resource metering options. So what we just did here was we changed the resource metering interval to collect data every minute for our lab purposes. Next, we're going to get some statistics. there you have it. We have some statistics containing average CPU megahertz, average RAM used, max RAM, min RAM, total disk space used, in and outbound network connections. Once resource metering is enabled, it continuously collects data. So sometimes we may need to reset it. In order to reset it, we would use get VM star pipe reset VM resource metering. And let's go ahead and put that command in right now. All right, so we've reset the VM resource metering. Again, it's not going to give us a confirmation. Once we're done collecting our info, we're going to use the get VM disable VM resource metering command to disable the resource metering functionality. And the VM resource metering should now be disabled. Next, let's verify that the resource metering is indeed disabled. We're going to use get VM format table name state resource metering enabled. All right, and this is the column we want, the resource metering enabled, and it's showing false for all of our virtual machines. Let's configure integration services. This is a set of software that streamlines the integration between the Hyper-V host and the virtual machine. So right now I'm on my PLAB WIM 802 virtual machine. I'm going to click on Actions, then Integration Services Setup. Click the CD-ROM drive, and we'll select Install Hyper-V Integration Services. Alright, so this error that we have is because we're actually running a virtual machine inside of another virtual machine. So that's why it's giving us this error. Next thing we're going to do is click on File, Settings, inside of PLAB WIN 802. Select Integration Services and put a check mark inside of Guest Services and click OK. Let's right click the Start Charm and select Shutdown. Let's create a Generation 2 virtual machine. These virtual machines have support for Pixie Boot and UEFI. Let's select our PLAB Hyper-V, right mouse click on it, select New, then Virtual Machine. The wizard comes up. We're going to name the new virtual machine PLAB WIN 805. We'll check the storage and leave the default location. We'll select Generation 2. We're going to give it 15 36 megs of memory. On the connection, we're gonna give it PLAB private, meaning it could only communicate with other virtual machines. On the create hard disk, we're gonna keep the defaults and click on next. We'll install our operating system later, and let's click finish. Alright, so our new virtual machine is built. I just want to show you the settings for the Generation 2 virtual machines. Notice that the interface is different. It's a much cleaner look. Well, that does it for creating and configuring virtual machine settings.